name is Selenna Banuelos. I'm an assistant professor of mathematics at California State University, Channel Islands.
What is your favorite part of your job and why?
My students. My students, because they've actually inspired me. They're the reason why I chose to work as a professor, because as a mathematician, in particular, a math biologist, I think we have other areas we could have gone to. But in particular, our students are, I think for many of us, the reason why we're here.
When you were young, what did you dream of being someday?
When I was a kid, actually, I remember reading about the Big Bang Theory. I was probably in like the fourth grade or something when I read that, and it was just like a big wow factor for me. I remember just being amazed about the whole thing and wanting to learn more. So when I was in high school, I took whatever science classes we could. So I took human physiology, chemistry, physics, AP calculus, whatever I could. I definitely know I always wanted to be in that area, but a mathematician, no, I didn't even know what that was.
If you could go back and give some advice to your undergraduate self, what would you say?
Be more present, I feel. I was so nervous when I was an undergraduate student, being first generation, like no one in my family, and when I say family, you know, in Latinos households, family means like tios, tias, uncles, like all 30 of them, you know, all 30 cousins and all. So I was the first one of my family to go to college here, including cousins. I was really nervous about attending college. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if I could finish because, again, I didn't know anyone who had. Right? So I was really, really nervous about it. And so because of that, like I don't know. I just feel like I was so serious about myself there. I would have liked to tell myself, don't be too afraid to try it. I took one graduate course. I think I would have liked to take more. Yeah.
Why did you hold back?
I was just really nervous about failing. As the only woman in that class and the only undergraduate student in that class, it was quite difficult to find other students to work with in the class. And I was just nervous to ask for help because, again, then it would be like, oh, they notice it's the girl who's asking for help, or it's the undergraduate who's asking for help. So I studied basically on my own for that whole class. I did complete it. I passed the class as an undergraduate student taking a graduate course, but I think, you know, I think there's a couple of lessons I got from that. I feel like we also should be, as professors or any department, should be very conscious of when our undergraduate students, or for example only women or minority students, are taking a class, and take the time and ask them, do you need, are you studying with people, or have you found people to study? Just that little extra thing of like, let me make sure that they're okay. That would have been very helpful. I was very, very fortunate at UCSB to have found great mentors who noticed me. I think number one, like noticed me, noticed my passion for mathematics, and said, hey, you should keep studying. The sort of urgency I think that a lot of our Latino students or underrepresented minority students in STEM feel to get a job right away, to start helping family. I think that was part of what I was thinking about. Like, I need to make sure that I'm like done out and like, I'm able to pay back my family for all of the expenses of undergrad. But this professor in particular said, no, you should really keep studying. Even if, say, for example, I wanted to be a high school teacher, I wanted to be as inspiring as, Jaime Escalante, for example. He was like my hero. And I thought I wanted to be just like him. And he said, well, imagine how much inspiring you could be as a college professor. Because he knew I wanted to teach. And so he said, well, you could still teach in college. There was another professor, Jess Stoppel, who made sure that I went to an undergraduate conference my junior year. So right after, actually, I think a lot of things unfolded my junior year. So I took this graduate course in the fall quarter. In the second quarter, I went to an undergraduate conference for women in Nebraska. That's where I learned about REUs, or research experience for undergraduates. So when I came back to school right after that conference, I mentioned to my professors, I'd like to apply for these REU things. And they said, great, we'll write you letters of recommendation. So I applied to a couple of REUs for the summer between my junior and senior year. And I was very fortunate to go to the Summer Math Institute, and I was at Cornell. Part of it was taking some courses in upper division mathematics to prepare us for, the rigors of upper division math. And then also the other part was a research component. So I engaged in, my first research project was there, and it was in mathematical biology, particularly like neuroscience. So it was really cool. I remember saying, even if I do go on and study and get a PhD in math, there's no place for me here, because I looked around the math department at UCSB, and I had never met at that time a woman or a Latina, like U.S. citizen, there in the department. And so I thought to myself, like, even if I do this, there's no place for me. And so that was part of why I didn't want to, like, keep studying. And also, of course, I was really nervous about it. I didn't even know if I could finish undergrad. And now they're telling me to keep going. And I was like, well, what's a PhD going to be like? This is difficult. How is that going to work out? But that program showed me that I had the necessary tenacity to finish. Like I could really, like, eat, sleep, and breathe mathematics, and I loved it. I came back and I said, okay, I think I can apply for a PhD. And so that experience was not just great in terms of, again, researching and learning something new, but it showed me that I could do it and I could keep studying. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to apply.
How can students make the most of their CI undergraduate experience?
If students have the ability and time to be on campus and join clubs and organizations, and again, just be more present here, I think that is extremely important. The mentorship I received was amazing and great, and definitely helped me to get where I am. But I also want to speak about how important mentorship is for me to my students, because I mean, I learn a lot from my students, and it's not just like, like, I'm of course looking to my senior peers and whenever I have problems or any questions, but also what I learned from my students mentoring them. It's amazing, and the resilience they have, and just I'm able to tell them, like, look, I've been there. It's okay, and that kind of stuff, I think it's really important. I mean, I value my time with my students all the time, and I think, yeah, I just learn a lot from them.